Alright, hey guys, welcome back to another character spotlight video. This episode we'll be doing Arvis. Now during the Ira video, I said that I'd be doing Arvis next and fairly soon, but that was 2 weeks ago, and I was hoping to do that sooner actually, but we ran into a little bit of complications, and it wasn't actually with Arvis. I completed Arvis fairly fast, all things considered, and that's just because he's a really good healer for Tempest Trials, so I just ran him as a healer. You know, grinded him up real quick. He was real nice. He could also deal a pretty good amount of damage. So it wasn't actually Arvis's fault. Rather, the team comp required that I built a different character, and we will reveal who that is later. This team comp's actually moderately spicy. I like it. But first, let's talk about Arvis. So, little context here. People have known that Arvis was going to come out in Heroes for a while, but like when the rumors first happened, everybody thought that he was going to be an armor mage. You know, I haven't actually played his game. What game is this? Genealogy. I haven't actually played Genealogy yet. I plan on doing it eventually, but I haven't yet. However, that hype sounded pretty cool, so I kind of joined in. I had a spare Takumi. I could probably use my Katarina or whatever. I think Katarina's the one with the owl tome. And make a pretty spicy Arvis. So everybody was really hyped about that. Then he was released. I still remember the data mine where all the genealogy characters were released. I think that was the most, well, maybe the second most after the Brave Heroes, but it was one of the most hype character reveal sessions I've ever had, just because there were so many cool characters. I mean, that's when Ira was revealed, so that was like the first real power creep character. I mean, Arden was awesome, but Arvis came, and I think the first reaction that everybody had was, "Oh, he's not an armor mage. I hate him now. It's over." And I was moderately disappointed, but I probably not as disappointed as everybody else was. It turns out that we did get the armor mage in the end in Henry, and I think he's pretty good. I don't know. I didn't actually pull one. However, Arvis was revealed. I think everybody was a little let down, but I feel like he's good in a different way. Like, I saw the stats first, and I saw the movement type first, and I was a little bummed out. And then I saw that his weapon was actually pretty cool. So it pretty much has attack ploy and res ploy 2 on it, and that's pretty good in my opinion, especially considering his high res. He's probably going to be proccing it a decent amount. So then I also saw the recover ring, which is essentially renewal 4. He gets 10 health every turn. And, some stuff was starting to formulate in my mind. I mean, he can debuff a lot. He can debuff 3 stats here pretty reliably from a far distance. He has renewal 4. His health isn't exactly the best, but I think that with stuff like summoner support, it can increase pretty well. So I thought Arvis could be a pretty good, type of green check, green magic check, hybrid type of supporty character. And it was kind of exciting because I had never really played around with res tanks or ploys before. So I was pretty excited about making this build, exactly. Maybe replacing defense ploy with speed ploy. Just so, because I feel like speed ploy is just better, especially making Arvis himself more self-sufficient, like being able to use his own buffs better. Some of my other friends came up with different builds for Arvis. I know one of my friends in my Discord, he absolutely went all out with his Arvis. I'll actually link his channel in the description. He made a really cool video, rather a couple videos of just his Arvis doing cool stuff. and it was like more of an offensive Arvis build where he uses his own buffs. He even got speed ploy on him. It's pretty exciting. He plus one him and everything. So it shows that Arvis can be used for stuff like that. Like I saw him like having his Arvis tank Reinhardts and Bravelins, so it was a fun time. But I don't want to invest that much in my Arvis, and I feel like I want to kind of explore this build just because he's like the only other person that I really talk to a lot that uses his Arvis a lot, and he has like a different playstyle sort of with him, so I wanted to check this playstyle out. I haven't actually used it in PvP too much. I think I used it along with my dragons for one season when he was a bonus character. But this is a different team comp because I don't just want to show off dragons again. So essentially the idea of this build is Arvis can hit enemies with a bunch of debuffs, essentially being the equivalent of buffing up his allies, right? If he hits an enemy with like the -4 attack and res, that's like having hone attack and res for any ally that actually hits the enemy, and then same thing with defense ploy. So he can do that to increase the capabilities of his allies, and then because of the Renewal 4, he can regain his health at a very fast rate, like faster than Falchion healers. And I've known for a while that like Masked Marth has been a pretty cool pseudo healer. I was actually planning on making a Masked Marth spotlight before all of these genealogy characters were released, but that's on the back burner now. So he can essentially just spam his Ardent Sacrifice, so he's like a pseudo healer that can also debuff enemies. And then if he absolutely needs to, he can go in clutch with 41 res. The speed is a little and he's also the type of character that benefits a lot from as support. And you know how I love those characters. I just love efficiency with this thing. The health is pretty good because it gets him to a respectable health amount. I wouldn't say that anything sub 40 is too absolutely insane, but considering that without the summoner support, he's closer to 30 than 40, I feel like the HP is pretty good. It gets his attack up to 53, which is nice. A little bit more attack. His speed, I wouldn't exactly say that it helps him like double a lot more. However, it gets his speed to an amount where he's not doubled by a lot more. So that's alright. The defense, I'd say that's probably the stat that I least care about, all things considered. But, 22 defense, And definitely the res, it increases his res, but, every increase with res is also super good because it increases the chance that you get the ploys off. And then, obviously, I run the Valflame. Like, if you're running Arvis, you're not just going to run him for, like, a blade buff or whatever. You're probably running him for the Valflame. There's Ardent Sacrifice to go along with Recovering. Iceberg, obviously, 41 res. Who wouldn't want to take advantage of 20 damage Icebergs? Fury 3, I have Fury 3 here kind of for the same reason that I like the summoner support. He takes advantage of pretty much all the stats, especially the res. All things considered, with all these different res buffs, that's an extra 8 res, which is really good, I think, because it vastly improves his likelihood of hitting the ploys, I think, like the 8 res difference. And then also, the Fury increases his speed and attack. We already talked about those stats. And the little, self-synergy, the 6 damage after combat is made up for and slightly increased by the Recovering, which covers 10 HP. So the damage after, I usually don't care about it, but that kind of nullifies it even more. So, with the Fury 3 and the Ardent Sacrifice, he has a lot of opportunities to take advantage of the recovering, because there will be some periods where, he's max health and the recovering doesn't actually do anything, and that sucks. Then Defense Ploy 3 is his base C skill. If I had Speed Ploy, I would probably put it here instead, but I don't. Speed Ploy kind of makes Arvis like more self-sufficient because he doesn't actually take advantage of Defense Ploy, and that was kind of the first thing that made me think like, oh, he can support other units then to that actually target enemies' defense. And then oops. Well, there you go. The res plus 3 was just, extra res. Here's the team comp that I've made for him. It's a little spicy. I wasn't exactly sure what team comp to use with Arvis, so I, went and asked my Discord, not my Discord, like the Discord that I'm in, and, we theory crafted a little bit, and this was kind of the team comp that we decided on. So let's kind of get down to the nitty-gritty of this. We have my Alencia here. I'd say that this is probably a mildly unique Alencia. I pulled 2. One of them was minus attack plus speed, and I just felt really bad using a minus attack brave weapon user. And this one was plus attack minus speed. So I think a lot of people, what they try to do with their Alencias is they try to get like a plus speed one or a plus attack one, and then like minus HP or something, and then they hit her with life and death and flyer buffs, and she's really good at quadding. What I did here was I decided that at 31 speed, she's not going to be quadding anything, and I didn't really feel like there was a point in trying to salvage that. So I decided to go all in on just normal doubling, so I kept the death blow drag back. I gave her attack plus 3, stuff like that. So she's pretty much just a doubler, like tries to hit hard with the doubles rather than trying to quad people. She's still worked pretty fine for me, I'd say. So her main objective here is just going to be huge burst damage from doubling, a pretty good red threat against high res reds. And then we have this guy, Valter. I think this is like the spiciest guy in the team. Like this team comp was suggested to me by CJ, the same guy that suggested my, or not suggested, but the same guy that built up his Arvis. He also has a really good Valter, videos of him in his channel as well. Check it out. It's pretty exciting. He's got like life and death and guidance, and it's awesome. But I didn't have the same amount of investment placed into my Valter, so I had to kind of improvise. And he was actually the guy that I had to spend a bunch of time farming for. Like, I didn't have him very well built when I started this and decided that he was going to be on the team, so I had to grind him out in Tempest a bit. So that's what took a long while. So the idea here is that, Valter and Alencia, they're flyers, they can get past a lot of hard terrain and get to those ployed enemies pretty well. They kind of work off each other since, they're both flyers. And then a little cool synergy, the Cursed Lance, Arvis can heal that. And pretty much Valter here is kind of like baby Valter. I know a lot of people like to run Fury 3 on him. I prefer Darting Blow. He actually gets more wins with his base build, like with his base kit. Darting Blow than Fury 3 on player phase, obviously. And the Fury damage along with the Cursed Lance damage is a lot, and I feel like you shouldn't really try to do that unless you want to try to take advantage of his fast health drop. Which I have seen stuff like that. Like, I've heard talk of Desperation, Brash Assault, the Brash Assault seal on Valter, and then you hit that super fast after combat damage, and then he's like always doubling people. It's really spicy. Obviously Bonfire, I replaced Luna with Bonfire. my kind of philosophy with those skills is if a unit has 30 or more of defense or res, you go with Bonfire or Iceberg, depending on which one's higher. If it's lower, you go with Luna, unless there are some other circumstances in which like Moonbow would be better, or something like Gale Force or Regnal Astra. So Darting Blow, kind of talked about that. He gets more wins with that. I gave him the speed +3. I don't know. I didn't really know what skill to give him. I thought guidance, but guidance wasn't maxed out, and I didn't feel like maxing it out. C skill, Panic Ploy is just his base C skill, and I wanted to get it over with as soon as possible, like the farming, because I really wanted to release this video. I felt like I was, I didn't want to be a liar and say that I'm going to do an Arvis video and then not do it for like 2 months. So I just leveled up Panic Ploy. It's alright, I guess. He's got 42 health, which isn't too impressive. But that should still be enough to hit like Mage's Reinhardt with the Panic Ploy. So it's fine, I guess. It's enough. Then Swordbreaker 3. This was another suggestion by CJ. He said that he probably will be able to outspeed most lances, so Lancebreaker is but there's a lot of really fast swords, so putting Swordbreaker on Valter kind of guarantees that I'm able to take out any swords that I come by. Because, swords are on average faster than lances. So, yeah, I agree with him. So, Swordbreaker it is. Really nice to have a designated Ira counter because, I don't know, I didn't do any math or anything, but considering how strong Ira is, I wouldn't be surprised if she could take on Valter. Okay. Then we have, go to Inigo. He's been like the MVP of every one of these spotlights. Like obviously I don't use him on my real arena team just because he's super low BST, but when you're sitting here trying to show off certain team comps, it's so nice to have him just because he's a dancer, so he can make the other characters look cooler, and he can also, warrant like more flexible teams, since, he takes care of a lot of threats, and I can build the rest of the team differently. So yeah, he's definitely been the MVP. He's been in like I think every one of my spotlight videos since I pulled him. It's great. Yeah, same build as always. So yeah, kind of the idea here is Arvis debuffs and supports. Alencia and Valter are two really big threats. They can take care of a lot, and then Inigo's just in the back, taking care of anything the other guys can't take care of and helping out. So yeah, I think this is a more grindy comp than a lot of stuff that you'll see like horse teams or whatever. They go all in armor teams and dragon teams kind of let the enemies just run into them and kill them. With this team, I think you got to play kind of differently. Take advantage of all the debuffs. I think all in all, among all our characters, we have 4 ploys. Take advantage of the debuffs, take advantage of the infinite sustain. And yeah, so I haven't used this team comp yet, so let's check it out. Nice name, dude. Again, no bonus character, that's why it scores so low. Oh, speaking of armor emblem, we have these guys. Looking at their res, it's all like super low, so I'm going to be able to hit them all with Arvis debuffs. Yeah. No weapon forge here, unfortunately. None of these weapons can be weapon forged. I don't know about Grunraven. Speaking of weapon forge, if you guys want to see something spicy, check out my weapon forge video. It was super exciting. I weapon forged my girl, Tiki. Okay. I guess we're just gonna roll up these guys' faces. Okay. Do this, get some nice damage. Arvis has infinite sustain, so he'll get up to health fairly easily. We'll just see how things end up here. Oof. A little close there. Okay. Okay, so Arvis can kill Amelia here. He could almost kill Black Knight. The Iceberg proc with Arvis is so good. It pretty much guarantees like a kill on any green, I think. Okay, now let's figure out how to get him out. See, he won't be outsped. Well, it doesn't matter because Black Knight's actually a red unit, so... Yeah, I guess Valter takes care of him here. Black Knight's got some of the debuffs here from Arvis. Nice. Okay. Just go fast here, I guess. So yeah, there you go. Real nice. You saw that the debuffs are fairly effective against these armor units. Arvis could one round all the green ones because he's not the strongest defensively, but he's strong enough to take out greens still. You saw Valter there being able to do fairly well against whatever red he comes across. You saw a lot of really good repositioning across like forests and rivers and stuff because flyers. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with how that one ended up. Ugh, denser means it's something faster, so I guess we'll see how. Oh god, how it ends up on this. So look at this dude. Glacius, wow. This is like more like invested in Arvis or whatever. Okay, this team comp's actually like scary as freak. Why Fury 3? So he gives up 3 damage for more tankiness, I guess. I mean, I guess I get it. Oh, Brash Assault. This is like a pretty cool player controlled build. I really hope I don't die here because I don't want to, remake this video because I talked a lot. Although, let's be real, I probably wouldn't remake it even if I died because I don't. It's like you guys still get it. I used to remake my videos every time I died in arena just because I felt like if I showed my characters dying, they wouldn't be as cool looking. Like, people would be like, whoa, look at the character spotlight on a bad character. But I think at this point, you guys get it. Like, I'm not always the best at decision making. I haven't used these characters for super long, and those that I have, I'll probably do better with. And yeah, a lot of these could be chalked up to simple mistakes. And, it's just a fun time, Okay, I can do this. I think. So. Yeah, so I guess we get Cecilia with Arvis. He doesn't double her. That actually sucks. We'll see. Pretty spooky team comp overall, I'd have to say, though. Oh. Well, that's a thing. Okay, check this one out. Yeah. So, Valter died due to unfortunate circumstances, but it's still fine. There you go. See that iceberg proc do wonders. That Arvis is no lagger behind or whatever with his res, but I still managed to bop him with the spicy iceberg. And also, there's the fact that he's summoner supported, so he kind of has an edge up because of that. Okay, that probably could have been, ooh, hey, got my feathers from a minute ago, thanks, bud. Probably could have won that with better unit placement or whatever. But, hey, I don't want to waste everybody's time. Okay. So classic. Hey, look at this Brave team. Just replace this nerd with Brave Roy. Okay. Hey, something spicy you can do is just place your Arvis there to debuff, like Lynn or Reinhardt or whatever, even when they go in. Just look how weak they are compared to usual. And then just do something like this. Real nice. Kind of guarantees the one shot on the retreat or whatever. Okay, get some nice healing there. Arvis will regain that health at the beginning of the turn, so it's fine. Swordbreaker, no, not Swordbreaker. I don't think Swordbreaker would have mattered there, though. Okay. Ooh, nice job. So yeah, there you go. You saw kind of Arvis just being more of a supported guy, debuffing enemies, healing our team, because there wasn't too much to do against most of those guys. But he can still contribute to the team, even when he can't contribute just through battles. Okay, same dealio here. It's kind of spooky Wings of Mercy there, trying to be slick. We can get Arvis here to debuff. The Reinhardts, I think, are scarier than the Lins sometimes. Let's see, I can move him up here, and then, yeah, this is one of the many cool things about flyers, just the ways you can mess around with positioning your units. It's really fun. So yeah, there you go, I guarantee the debuffs again. The debuffs are really nice with Inigo, considering that, like, you know, the way that he works, it's just based entirely off of his skills and weapons, because his stats are pretty lackluster all in all, and that's just a byproduct of his low BST. So with Arvis, you know, Arvis can take care of, like, some scary threats that Inigo can't, and then Inigo can take care of pretty much the two things that Arvis can't, with this build in specific, which is Reinhardt and Brave Lynn, and then Arvis heals up Inigo, and then Inigo can get back into Bowbreaker range or whatever. And then he can also debuff, so he can guarantee that Inigo has the stats that he needs for stuff. It's real nice. Okay. Let's go here. The Swordbreaker is really nice. And then heal up Inigo, I guess. Yeah, the Swordbreaker is super nice on Valter. It's pretty much like, it pretty much erases like every sword unit. And there's a lot of sword units, so that's real nice. Brave Ike, I know that he's really low res. And then she doesn't have DC, so she's just gone. Right, nice. So as you saw a little bit ago, this team is kind of versus horse teams, because you know, the horse teams just run us down, and this team comp wants to be a little bit more grindy, you know, take things one enemy at a time, take advantage of debuff stuff, and the horse teams just kind of run in guns blazing, or should I say tomes blazing, ha ha ha. But you know, we can still pull off wins and stuff. It's just that one time was kind of unfortunate. I don't know, I was trying to think of something spicy here. When all else fails, you can just go with the easy solution. And then, let's see. If I needed to, I could have, retreated back behind here, gotten repositioned with my Alencia and Valter. So you can see, like, especially on maps like this, you can really take advantage of terrain with this team comp. Wait things out, take enemies one at a time, wait till you get all your guys back up with Arvis. It's a really nice way to play the game, I think, because it's like, more relaxing. You can make sure that you get advantageous trades. The flyers are super safe. If I had guidance on Valter, I'd probably run it on him. So it's real nice. That's one of the pros of using team comps like this to show off characters. You get to experience teams that you don't usually experience, and get to experience different play styles. I know I've had a lot of fun with different stuff in the past. This team, I think this team was actually pretty fun. We got to do a lot of wins. We had one loss, and that was against, Reinhardt, Azura with horse buffs, and that just always sucks. But yeah, we took advantage of terrain. I think that this arena map rotation was actually pretty good for this comp, so that's pretty nice. And yeah, especially with Weapon Refinery, I think that you'll be seeing a lot less horses. So teams like this, I think you'll be able to take advantage of a lot more. Take advantage of the grindiness, since a lot of enemies are running more defense. Debuff them, hit them with this stuff. It's fun. So yeah, that was the Arvis video. I'm pretty content with how that ended. We got a lot of wins. Showed off, I think, everybody on the team. We saw Arvis pop off sometimes. We saw that he's able to heal his allies when he needs to, and take kind of a more supportive role if he needs to. We saw Inigo doing Inigo stuff. We saw Alencia and Valter be able to really take advantage of those debuffs fairly well, and use their reposition to get out of a lot of sticky situations. And yeah, fun time.